Robb, Brave New War, The Next Stage of Terrorism and the End of Globalization. In Brave New War, The Next Stage of Terrorism and the End of Globalization, Robb delves into the rapidly evolving landscape of global conflict, highlighting the decline of traditional nation-state power and the rise of global guerrillas. This shift has implications for the future of warfare, proxy conflicts, and the erosion of nation-state authority due to technological advancements. Readers can expect to gain a deeper understanding of the complexities of modern warfare, the tactics employed by non-state actors, and the challenges faced by nation-states in an era of ever-growing interconnectedness and technological innovation.
The shift in modern warfare. In the past, wars were primarily fought between large nation-states, with the most powerful ones usually claiming victory. However, the development of nuclear weapons and growing global interconnectedness has altered the landscape of warfare. The doctrine of mutually assured destruction has made conventional warfare between nuclear-armed nations unlikely. On the other hand, international trade and institutions such as the United Nations discourage conflicts that would strain economies and global stability. As a result, proxy wars and guerrilla tactics have become more prevalent, rendering the advantage of large armies less significant. For centuries, wars often involved powerful nation-states vying for control over territories. In these types of conflicts, the advantage typically went to the countries with the largest armies and greatest military capacities. However, the introduction of nuclear weapons and increasing interconnectedness have revolutionized the nature of modern warfare. Nuclear weapons have made the risk of direct conflict between developed nations too great, as the doctrine of mutually assured destruction guarantees that an attacking nation would also be severely damaged in a counterstrike. Consequently, large armies have lost much of their strategic value in the face of nuclear arsenals. Furthermore, the reliance on international trade, combined with the efforts of organizations like the United Nations to maintain peace, has created an environment where conflicts can have detrimental economic consequences. This has further encouraged nations to avoid large-scale wars. Instead, nations have turned to proxy wars and guerrilla warfare to advance their interests. Proxy wars involve the use of third-party militants, like guerrillas or terrorist groups, to fight on behalf of a nation, as seen in the US-USSR conflict in Afghanistan and the Iran-Syria involvement in Lebanon. Guerrilla warfare, with its focus on small, quick attacks that wear down the enemy over time, has proven effective at undermining the strength of large armies, as demonstrated in Vietnam, Iraq, and Afghanistan. This shift in warfare dynamics has diminished the advantage once held by large nation-states with powerful armies, leading to a new era of global conflict. The eroding power of nation-states. Since the 1648 Treaty of Westphalia, nation-states have wielded immense power, encompassing control over their economies, security, and citizens. However, advancements in technology, especially the Internet, have challenged this dominance by enabling open idea sharing and a global marketplace. These changes have diminished the state's influence in various aspects, including security. Presently, transnational terrorist networks exploit technology, straining the nation-state's capacity to protect its citizens. Consequently, private security firms step in to fill this gap, as seen in Iraq and Afghanistan, further highlighting the waning power of nation-states in this digital era. Rise of global guerrillas. Nation-states are facing increasing challenges in maintaining power and security as global guerrillas, such as terrorists, insurgents, and international gangs, continue to gain strength. These criminal groups take advantage of the rapidly expanding black market, currently valued at $1 to $3 trillion, which grows at 7 times the rate of the legal economy due to the facilitation of cross-border trade by new technologies like the Internet. While each group has distinct goals, they often collaborate when undermining the state is aligned. Instead of replacing state power, these guerrillas now seek to destabilize infrastructure, providing them with opportunities for recruitment and illegal operations amid weakened public institutions and laws. Some groups, like Al-Qaeda, even attempt to eradicate the nation-state completely. The nation-state thus finds itself increasingly under siege by these global guerrillas. System disruption tactics. In 2004, Iraqi insurgents implemented a tactic called systems disruption, causing severe damage to their country's oil pipeline for a week, costing the Iraqi economy over $500 million in export revenues. Systems disruption involves strategically targeting essential points in processes like oil, transport, electricity, or communication networks. This tactic offers more significant damage and minimal cost to the perpetrators, making it enticing. The reliance on interconnected systems, such as the electricity network, makes modern societies vulnerable to collapse due to the system punct, a critical point within the system. Deliberately striking the system punct can cause a cascade of failure, affecting other interconnected system puncts, leading to substantial nationwide damage even from small-scale operations. Open-source warfare dynamics. In recent years, open-source networks have revolutionized software development, enabling rapid collaboration and improvement. This approach has also found its way into global guerrilla tactics, known as open-source warfare, OSW. Thanks to the Internet, these groups can easily discuss, experiment, and share strategies, blurring conventional hierarchies and creating adaptive tactical networks. Consequently, security services face new challenges when combating such groups, as traditional strategies of infiltration or targeted removal of leaders no longer lead to victory. An illustration of this new dynamic was evident in 2006 when the U.S. forces killed Iraqi insurgent leader Abu Musab al-Zarqawi. His death failed to dismantle the insurgency, as the group had already evolved and outgrown its need for a centralized figure. Open-source networks in warfare, like those in software development, make for a more resilient, adaptable, and difficult-to-defeat adversary. The long tail of insurgency. Just as the Internet has enabled a long tail of niche markets in the business world, it has also given rise to numerous smaller insurgent groups within warfare. The invasion of Iraq exemplifies this phenomenon. Despite the number of insurgents killed or captured, new groups continuously emerge to fight coalition forces. These smaller factions, each with their unique motivations and tactics, made it increasingly difficult for traditional approaches to counter them. Versatile strategies are required to address this fragmented landscape of global guerrillas and prevent further destabilization. The invasion of Iraq by coalition forces, which culminated in the removal of Saddam Hussein's regime, led to an underground uprising against the foreign forces and the newly established government. Surprisingly, the insurgency persisted despite official statistics showing thousands being killed or captured monthly. This baffling situation can be better understood through a parallel from the business domain. The force of globalization and the Internet has transformed long-established market norms. Amazon, for example, carries over 1 million titles compared to the 130,000 found in a typical brick-and-mortar bookstore. Over half of Amazon's book sales come from niche titles not carried in physical stores. This demonstrates the emergence of long tails in markets, simultaneous success of large and smaller products alike, as opposed to a few dominant ones monopolizing industries. The same long tail effect fuels insurgency and warfare. Instead of facing a few large, homogeneous terrorist groups, societies confront numerous tiny factions vying for their place in the fight. These groups connect and disseminate their beliefs through the Internet, ever seeking supporters and sharing ideas. During its peak, the insurgency in Iraq was composed of at least 75 separate groups, all driven by their unique motivations, whether loyalty to Saddam Hussein, tribal allegiances, or religious convictions. Despite their differing niches, these groups united to combat coalition forces. This fragmented structure allowed for continuous insurgent attacks, as when one group was neutralized, another promptly took its place. As we delve further, we will explore how contemporary societies can thwart global guerrillas from dismantling our way of life by addressing this long tail of insurgency. Adapting security in an unpredictable world. Traditional nation-state security measures are becoming increasingly ineffective against evolving global threats. As these threats shift, existing systems struggle to keep up, leaving our societies vulnerable to unexpected events. Security agencies have resorted to questionable tactics, leading to concerns about the erosion of state legitimacy and an urgent need to reassess our strategies for protecting the vital systems upon which society relies. In the past, citizens relied on centralized bodies like the military, police, and security services to provide protection from various threats. However, this approach is losing its efficacy in today's constantly changing world. This challenge can be likened to Nassim Nicholas Taleb's Black Swan concept, which refers to the human tendency to fool ourselves into believing we can foresee significant, unexpected events. This fallacy leaves us blindsided by inherently unpredictable incidents, such as the 9/11 attacks in the United States. Global guerrilla groups have proven to be adaptable and resilient, leaving traditional security systems consistently one step behind and struggling to anticipate their next moves. This has resulted in security agencies scrambling to implement highly questionable, often unworkable, tactics. Many people are concerned that this push for increased security may be transforming nations into police states, particularly as agencies resort to ethically dubious techniques, including surveillance and torture. For instance, the United States National Security Agency, NSA, collects personal data from individuals, both domestically and internationally, while other agencies have been reported to use enhanced interrogation techniques. These actions not only fail to halt terrorism but also undermine the legitimacy of the state, especially for countries that pride themselves on their moral standing. The shifting nature of threats and the limitations of current security measures underline the need to revise our strategies for safeguarding society. We cannot rely solely on state-centric mechanisms for protection anymore. Instead, we must focus on developing innovative approaches to ensure the resilience and safety of our essential societal systems. Decentralizing vital systems. The rigidity and interdependence of today's society makes it vulnerable to global guerrillas who can cause widespread harm with minimal effort. The antidote is decentralizing our crucial systems, making them more robust and less susceptible to attacks. By not putting all our eggs in one basket, we reduce the risk of cascade failures from a single attack. Platforms, such as the Internet, exemplify this principle. Their two-way access enables users to act as both producers and consumers, leading to a more resilient system. Implementing decentralization in other vital systems, like the electricity grid, means allowing users to contribute power through sources like solar panels. This increase in producers creates a more robust network, as incapacitating one producer has little overall impact. Decentralization ultimately protects our systems from collapsing even when future attack targets are unknown.
Robb forewarns the increasing vulnerability and waning power of nation-states, as they struggle to combat the growing threat of global guerrillas that capitalize on decentralized networks, technological advancements, and intricate strategies. With this shift in global dynamics, traditional warfare has become a relic of the past, and nation-states must adapt to the evolving terrain. Robb posits that decentralizing vital systems and embracing a platform-based approach can increase resilience against these new-age threats. Brave New War is a wake-up call for readers to recognize and comprehend the contemporary realities of warfare, and the crucial transformation required to safeguard our world.